Hey all, Lee from Fry's Garage here. Something different today. I'm going to show you something not very common in Fry's Garage. Yeah, so engine light on. This is a little E-Class Mercedes, E350. All right, so V6, quad cam, very pokey engine, but they did have some issues back in the day, and I suspect that's what I've got today. Anyway, fault light, engine light on the dash. Oda says that sometimes the fault code comes up on the dash, engine light. Now that's why it's here. So I'll plug the scan tool in. Let's see what fault codes are there. Engine runs beautifully. There's no fault code on the dash now. Let's just hope it's nothing sinister. But there's a bit of history with these engines, so we'll see what it is. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. And if we've got to fix it, we've got to fix it. So what we'll do is we'll go in the car. I'll turn the scan tool on, see what fault codes are there. And then we'll do some mapping, some data looking, whatever we've got to do. So let's get into it. So let's have a look. So that's the V6. Very neat little engine. Good engineering. Mercedes engineering, you can't beat it. Well, you can. It depends who you talk to, I guess. Lovely car. So let's have a look. So we'll turn the ignition on. I've got the scan tool ready to go. We'll turn the ignition on. Get it running. It's a bit warm today, so I might just put the aircon on for a little bit of comfort. Why not? We can do this. Engine's running, so it's a bonus. Alright, let's have a look. So I'm in already because I had the ignition on before to save a bit of time. So let's go through the system list. Now I want to have a look at the engine because that's the fault that pretty much came up on dash. So we will go combustion engine, enter. Let's have a look. You can see all the dust on these screens. Bloody hell. Only cleaned it 10 minutes ago. There's dust all already. Alright, read fault codes. Let's see if there's anything in there. Okay, what do we got? 1208, constant adjustment of intake camshaft of right cylinder bank in direction retard. Okay, constant adjustment of exhaust camshaft on right cylinder bank in direction retard. So intake and exhaust camshaft. Like I was saying before, these are variable camshaft operated by oil and solenoids and computer adjustment depending on power needed, if the engine is just idle or if it's in cruise mode, basically dependent on throttle load, okay, or throttle position and load count in percentages. So those being separate is interesting because generally it's either one or the other. So an intake sensor issue or solenoid, or exhaust sensor or position sensor on the gear on the end of the camshaft. So both of them is interesting. Anything I'm sort of thinking straight away that comes to mind is the chain. But this car has only done 167,000. I wouldn't think it's due, but I know there was a certain variant of the m272 that did have chain and gear issues, but yeah, I think that was more of the American and European cars, but we'll see. Anyway, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's go to the live data. Let's see what the actual actuators are doing, percentages, and the degrees. I'll try and get this right. And we'll go from there. Let's see exactly what it's doing. So let's go back out. We want to read data. Whoops, no. We want data system. Whoops, my fault. Data stream, because we want to see live data. Turn this fan down, the aircon, very noisy. All right, so what do we got? Check engine, test values and driving, electronic actuators. Where's normal data? Let's see what's here. Further actual values. Let's look there. Let's just get them all up. So select all. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Camshaft position, exhaust left. Camshaft, exhaust right. Camshaft position, intake left and intake right. So you were saying there's a fault with the both cams on the right. So we want to look at this one and this one. All right, so 4 and line 6. So we go over here. Yeah, look. Sorry, I'm just thinking at the moment. All right, so what we want to do, we want to compare, let's compare the intake left to the intake right, and then also we'll compare exhaust left to exhaust right, knowing that the computer is not happy with the data it's reading and the sporadicness, I'm assuming, of everything on the right side of the engine, okay? So let's pick these sensors on graphs and let's have a look at it real time. We can sort of see more of what the computer's seeing. So let's get them up. So let's go camshaft position, exhaust left. Well, let's go the left and the right and let's see if there's any difference with those live stream. So we'll have a graph now. Here we go. Oh, look at that. I can see that already. What's the orange one? Oh, what a surprise. Right hand side. If you can see, look how unstable the feedback is of the right hand exhaust position actuator. It is all over the place. That's telling me that the actuator is trying to continuously make sure that it has a stable degree position as the left. Obviously this engine's got to be very well balanced. It's, you know, the intake, exhaust, air, everything needs to be as even as Steven, okay? So I'm going to say that's potentially a sensor fault. So we've looked at the exhaust position, so exhaust cam. Let's get rid of those and let's have a look at the intake for left and right. Get out of there. What's going on there? Intake, that one. Let's get rid of that one. Okay, what do we got? Oh, look at that. Again. So let's just rev that. I just want to see. So give it a rev. Remember, both these sensors need to be in line. They need to be stable. Whatever the left's doing, the right's got to be doing the same. So give it a rev. Let's see what stream comes up. I'll just get rid of that. Look at that. So the left and the right is not balanced. I'll rev it again. I kind of need to be on the road because the engine needs to see proper load. Oh, there we go again. So can you see how there's a difference between the peak of the orange on the graph and the blue? Well, that tells me straight away they're not together, all right? They need to be overlapping by minimum 0.005% when you have two sensors running the same, okay? And with it at idle, can you see how the blue line is very stable, but the orange one is a little bit sort of corrugated? So that's interesting. There's a common link here. Oh, Jesus. And that common link is the chain. So we know, I'm going to say this from experience. So the sensor for the right hand exhaust and the position sensor for the right hand inlet, they're both working, okay? There's no other fault codes to say that they are an issue. And the fault codes that are coming, I'm talking voltages and deviation, okay? The fault that's come up is the computer basically saying that it's trying to keep adjusting all the time the actuators on both those cam actuators to make sure that, you know, it's getting the same degree. So camshaft retard or camshaft advanced, depending on engine, throttle position, and power required at the time. Okay. Now what I'll do is I got to take the sensors out. So I'll take the two sensors out on each head, and then what I'll do is I will get the crankshaft to a certain position. I've got to check out the specs for this engine first. So I reckon if I turn the engine to top dead center or some specified degree position, I should be able to see through the holes of where the camshaft position sensors are, the Hall effect sensors. And usually there's like a marking or something. So if those markings are a little bit advanced or retard, or different to the left to the right side, we know straight away, simply without going to the nitty gritty, that something is not right and it's not equal. If the chain needs to be done on this, these engines have to come out, I know that, because it is a massive job. And if I've got to do that, we're going to do a video on it, so it'll be pretty cool. So let me get all the sensors out. I'll get the crankshaft to whatever spec. I'll do some research first. We'll get it all set up right to spec, and then we'll get our preliminary view, and then we can determine that shit, we do have a chain problem or a sprocket issue. I'll do a bit more research on if there's any issues in the past with these, because it's only done 167,000. The chain's not rattly, which is really interesting. So everyone wants to say, yeah, change a sensor. Been there, done that. I'm going by gut feeling here. So I will get it ready, we'll measure it, and I'll come back to you in part 2. All right, see you soon. Ciao.